flying. I had flew with Singapore Airlines as a flight attendant and executive for 35 years before my retirement. So today I will relate two funny stories or interesting stories. One is about a gentleman who used to be our business class passenger, and on that particular flight, he was giving the crew a lot of trouble. He was abusing the crew, literally speaking. He shouted at the cabin crew, the flight attendant, and he alleged that the wines we served him were lousy, not up to standard. The food was not good, and it wasn't the crew's fault, but he kept shouting and misbehaving himself. So what can the crew do? We just apologize and try our best to please him, but nothing could please him. Well, after the flight, a few days later, we forgot everything about this. A few days later after the flight, one of the crew saw an obituary of a man who died he was not very old, he was probably in his 40s, died. And we found out that this particular man, I don't want to mention the names. Anyway, I don't mention names of passengers or the crew if I'm going to relate the story about. And he died in an accident. His car, he was driving a car and he smashed or drove into a lamppost and he died. And this was in Singapore. And we don't know, we call one another up, the crew on the phone, and we talk about it. And we really don't know actually what was it. Was it retribution? Oh, never mind. It's for you to guess. The second story is about a lady passenger, also a business class passenger, big deal business class. She came up, bought the flight from Frankfurt on Singapore Airlines. And I was at the door to greet our passengers, and she was approaching towards us. We were at the door of the aircraft inside, and she was approaching, and I addressed her by her name, which I could remember, Miss So-and-so. And she was taken aback, and she looked at me. Anyway, I helped her with the baggage, and I brought her up to the business class in the upper deck of the Jumbo, the Boeing 747. And when I showed her the seat and stole her baggage for her, she beckoned me, and asked me, how did you know my name? Without even saying my boarding card. The boarding card, there will be names of passengers on the boarding card. When we receive the boarding card during boarding time, we look at the name and then we will address the passenger accordingly, especially first class and business class. So I told her, I had to tell a small lie here. I told her that I could remember her because she reminded me of someone that I knew. Oh, she said, okay. That's okay, thanks. I was just curious, she said. But in my mind, and later on I talked to the crew, we were saying that we met her on a flight sometime back. And she was one of the most nastiest passenger. On the ground, she gave us a lot of problem regarding the seats. She didn't like it. We tried to solve the problem for her. She showed her tantrum of her, temper was fantastic, was bad. And during the flight too. But she wasn't as bad as the first story, the man. So how could you ever forget the name of a passenger or a person who abused you and who was so nasty to you? Of course, you remember her or him for a long, long time. But you can't tell her, right? So I had to lie to her that she reminded me of someone. So I hope you enjoy my stories. And if you like, you indicate in the comment column below this video and say you like it, you appreciate it, and I will tell more stories. These 2 stories are not in my book, which was published about 11 years ago, called Fasten Your Seat Belt, Cabin Crew. Thank you for watching my video.